Good evening. Well, good evening, caller. We have another call. Thank you very much for staying tuned to the program. I'm getting ahead of myself here. We have another call on the line. We're discussing public sector wage negotiations with the government. Good evening, caller. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
A question for Mr. Montrop. Has the negotiations come to an impasse? Are you at a stage where you are taking industrial action?
Thank you for that question.
First, I need to make that point very clear. We are not at an impasse. And the TUF members have not taken any industrial action.
Officially?
We have not taken any.
Well, I mean,
we have not.
You can't say that you went on sick out because.
I hear you say that, but I never heard that from any of our meetings with regards to the terminology sick out, going out, or any of those things.
Well, I mean, you did not say sick out per se, because otherwise government would be in a position to take some action. But the Friday before the first sick out, there was an indication at the meeting that as of Monday, public servants would be ill. And I mean, that went around very rapidly, you know, like a wildfire. We have a call. Let's take that call. Good evening. Please go ahead. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. I just want to ask, taxi drivers, they get duty-free allowance. Isn't that public money?
It is, yes.
We also speaking about farmers. Isn't that public money? Senior public servants that do not use their vehicles to travel. Isn't that public money?
Very much so.
I must also go further to say to you, from 2006, the rate that traveling officers have been paid for fuel, like the mileage, $1.23 a mile, this has not increased. Whereas minibus drivers have gotten many rebates. That has not been addressed. And government is giving to minibus drivers rebates all the time. And traveling officers have gotten no increase. So you cannot make the point that it is public money. And as far as I know, I don't know if there is a mechanism in place to tax taxi drivers.
Is that the end of your contribution?
To tax farmers and so on.
Okay.
We pay tax directly.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that contribution and to take that into consideration.
I take your point. Thanks a lot for that contribution. And you were going to make a similar point as well.
In relation to?
You were making a point. I think the first thing that he said, it's slipping me right now, but the first thing that he said, you were making a similar point during the break. Good evening, caller. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah,
yes?
Yeah. Yes, good evening.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello, good
Please
evening.
go ahead,
Yeah.
caller.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
I have a question directed at Mr. Reynolds.
Yes?
The answer to which I will listen to on air. What is your take on senior officers, grades 19 to 21, receiving concession on their personal vehicle when most of the time those officers go out on the field? They use the government SLG vehicle. Don't these concessions deplete the public purse?
Thank you very much for that question, and I'll throw it right to Cyprian right there. And the previous caller made that same point, that most of the higher grade officers, they get a concession, and
the lower ranks get nothing.
And they use public vehicles to travel.
Yes.
I'm sure this is one of your gripes as well.
Well, we are more or less concerned with the plight of the workers at the bottom. We understand why government would choose to give higher rank public officers those kinds of incentives. And we could never be against government providing incentives for the betterment of St. Lucia. But we are simply saying that if individuals at the lower ranks are placing so much emphasis on getting the work done, they need to get some reprieve that can assist them, not only in acquiring a better vehicle to do the work, but to leave monies into their hands that can cause them to have a better standard of living. And we are also saying that in the backdrop that we are accepting and compromising to accept a low salary increase, which would not mitigate against the cost of inflation and the many other myriads of issues that you have to deal with.
Now, talking about accepting, the Police Welfare Association has broken ranks to some extent with the TUF, and we had invited them to be on the program as well. What is the TUF's take on that and them accepting the government's offer of 4%?
First, I need to indicate that there is no rift between the Police Welfare Association and the TUF. The Police Welfare Association is an independent body, just like every other organization within the unit. We cannot dictate to them what to do. However, it would have been in the best interest if we had done it all together. They have taken that position. That is a decision or the position that we shall discuss internally. But I would like the public to be aware that there is absolutely no rift between the Police Welfare Association and the TUF.
We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Thanks for holding. Hello?
I
Yes.
want to ask one question before I make a statement.
Go ahead.
The lands that the civil servants are requesting of the government
Yes.
to be able to sell to their membership, is it to buy to make a form of gated community which will be named civil servant or under the auspices of civil service?
I first need to correct you on one thing. We are not asking government to divest lands to us to sell to our public officers. We are asking government to make lands available to public officers.
But
How
wouldn't that be the same thing?
No, because the mechanism could either be twofold. It could either mean that the government could divest the land to the trade union movement for onward transmission to the membership, or it could mean government could set up an authority that can sell those lands directly to those employees, just like you find that the NDC would be selling land to persons.
Yeah, but what I'm saying...
So, but the mechanisms we have not worked out. But what we are saying is that if our members were to go to the private, just go out into the public, based on the current salaries and the price of land out there, they are unable to purchase a piece of St. Lucia at $12 to $20 and $25.
Okay, let me give it to you, right? Because I have purchased land, and I know how it is to sell land.
That's right.
In this country, everybody has access to buy lands anywhere around the island. Prices may vary from spot to spot. I agree with that. But if you all are going to say that you all need the government to assist the civil servant to get some land, so what it means, either you all get it and sell it, they pass it on to you and sell it, or some agencies sell it to just civil servants. That means you're trying to make something of like a gated community or some sort of a village called by civil servants. And I'm seeing that the other lands that are being sold around, many of your civil servants are buying it already right now. Other people have advantage. If you're going to get that type of priority done by this government, what will happen to other agencies now start coming down on government and start and telling government they want to go that way? So what will happen to private land speculators like myself or or other people who would? Because I don't understand. If you are going for raise of salary, go for raise of salary. Try and see if you, as I've always thought, you should have start with a low amount first and go down the line instead of that 16 and make it look like a fool to go down from 16 to 6%, which is much less than what you all had asked
Okay,
for.
well, caller, allow him to respond to your question.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your contribution and your question.
In the context of what we are asking, you have to make the connection to the salaries negotiations. We are saying that at this point in time, our public officers are unable to meet the demands of the price of land in the market, in the open market. And if our public service officers continue to accept very low salary increases, it means that they will die and never own a piece of St. Lucia. And as such, we are saying that if government owns lands and it makes that land available to those public officers at very affordable rates, it means that those public officers would be in a position to own that land, and not only own the land, They will be able to build homes on it that can create direct employment. And we all know what is the impact of the construction industry on the growth of the economy. If those public officers are given those amenities or facilities, it means at the end of the day, it is not only the public officer who benefits, but the society at large, because it has a direct impact on varying sectors of the economy in terms of growth.
We have another call on the line. Good evening, caller. Please go ahead.
Hi, good night, team. Good night, Mr. Montrop.
Good night.
My contribution tonight is consistent with all the negotiations and all the issues that have been going on, and the item for divesting land, crown lands into the public service unions, that I would agree with, because these things have happened in Trinidad, in Barbados, in Jamaica, where the government used crown lands and placed it in the hands of the various public service credit unions, where they made lands available to the public officers for to create an ability where they can purchase the lands. So I am saying, if the public servants are asking for that, this is in addition to all the other benefits that the public servants may not have had. And Mr. Montrop, I was listening to you. This 6%, 4% increase and the attitude of the public servants says something. It says that people are frustrated, people are unhappy, and people are disgruntled. And we need to call a spade, because we know that people are disgruntled, we know that people are unhappy, and we know that there are circumstances and situations within the public service that perpetuates that kind of behavior. Now, for us as a public, for us as a St. Lucia, for us as the people who, I mean, we say the taxpayers, but we all taxpayers, including the public servants, we need to get the best value for our money and the best solutions possible. The government has said they can pay 6%. The public servants are saying they could pay 4%. The public servants are saying that they want 6%. And I agree with that. When we have 6%, it sounds like this big amount of money. When you look at 60% of your public servants, Mr. Montrop, between grades 1 and 6, what is 6% of their salary increases? What is 6% increase for them? It is a very marginal amount. I mean, some people 6% of their salary, 2% over the last 3 years. And this is retroactive, you know. This is retroactive. If we were doing negotiations prospectively, that would be different. That's money people have lost. When you take into consideration the time value of money, people have lost considerable amounts because they've not been paid the increase within the specified period. So I am saying that there are a whole set of mix of things that perpetuate that kind of behavior. I mean, we as the public saying, okay, it's an inconvenience for us because the public servants are agitating for what they think is their right. And I do agree with them to agitate for what their rights are. But what I'm saying is that the TUF and the unions need to sit down and say, let's call a spade a spade. What is happening is that the public servants, teachers, and everybody saying, I vex with you. I vex with my boss. And that is the attitude. That is what is perpetuating that attitude. So the TUF and the government, as the employer, they need to look at the whole situation as a holistic, they need to get a holistic view of what is going on and to see how they can resolve these things. And that thing about threatening public servants and say, if you do this, I'll do that, that doesn't work. And you see this war, if the government and the TUF don't sort this thing out soon, nobody wins this war. And we'll all be losers. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. You're watching Newsmaker Live. I'm here with the TUF Vice President, Cyprian Montrop. We'll take our last break, and when we come back, we'll continue with your calls and a wrap-up on tonight's program. Stay with us.
Before we take some